with COVID-19 news. Over 300 people in communities around Sandton, Alexandra and Houghton contracted COVID-19 on Christmas Day alone. That's according to Gauteng Health Department. It's revealed the sub-district known as Region E is the worst affected in Johannesburg. Now, for more on this, we're joined now by Gauteng Health Spokesperson Kwara Kekana. A very good morning to you, Kwara, and thank you very much for your time. So we know Christmas Day is a day where people move around to go be with family in different parts of the city. Can we attribute this spike to that?
Good morning, Morena, and good morning to the viewers at home. I think, sure, in Gauteng, it's quite an interesting province because during the festive season in particular, we see an exodus of people moving out of the province, going to, the rural provinces or Komakaya. But of course, you then have a bulk of people that remain in the province. And of course, South Africans being South Africans and loving a good time, but also because Christmas Day is really a day where a lot of people gather and spend time with families. So possibly those are some of the reasons why you see, an increased number of positive cases in particular areas. But of course, the Johannesburg district, I think since the start of the pandemic, has always been a district that has got, some of the highest number of positive cases in the whole of Gauteng, particularly because I think the population density in the district itself has always been one of the contributing factors for the increase in the number of positive cases in the district. But the Joburg district has almost always been, when you look at the pattern, where the large number of cases of positive cases in Gauteng have been registered.
Now, is Region E, is this the first spike of this nature for Region E, or is this something that's been happening throughout? Are we seeing this with different kinds of regions, or is this one particularly the worst affected throughout the festive period?
Well, with regards to, Johannesburg itself, like I was saying, and the interesting thing with hotspots as well is that a hotspot doesn't remain a hotspot, throughout, so there is a part where the number of cases in that particular area kind of dip and then they rise again. And we've observed this particularly during the May, June, July period. But of course, it would be easier to demonstrate this through, some of the graphs that the team has developed over time, just indicating, through like a 7-day average where we would locate the hotspots in the Joburg district, but also broadly in Gauteng. But Morena, what's also important, I think, also just to take and bring into the viewers involved in this is the dashboard that's been developed by the Gauteng provincial government, working together with IBM and Wits University. That allows us in the province to track the hotspots in Gauteng. But this is an interactive dashboard that can also be used by the people of Gauteng, where they themselves can see where they are the developing hotspots, but also where the hotspots are currently. And this also helps just in terms of resource allocation with regards to, looking at particular areas and what could be the contributing factors in those particular areas. One area in the last couple of days that has also seen just an increase in the numbers has been, I think it's Manziville in the West Rand as well. But there are various areas that, become hotspots and they are no longer hotspots, but then rise again based on different reasons, Morena. But I think it's quite important for the viewers at home to really interact with this dashboard. Yeah. It also empowers them with the information to identify where the hotspots are, where they are developing hotspots. But hopefully this can also assist us just in terms of managing the movement of people. So people don't need to be, going out if they don't need to be going out, essentially, Morena. This allows us also to in terms of where the communities are concerned, exercise extra caution if it's possible. So this dashboard really is quite interactive, and we really encourage the people of Gauteng to use this dashboard that will allow them as well, to help us in trying to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in those particular areas.
You're coming up to a very difficult week for Gauteng, and you mentioned how South Africans, especially Gauteng, is because we are it's such an urban place and such a metropolitan, especially Johannesburg. We're coming up to a very difficult period, which has always been a difficult period, since COVID-19, and that's the New Year's Eve period. Is the department ready for what's set to come, or are there going to be measures in place to ensure that, what we've seen with Christmas Day does not happen on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day?
Well, one of the things, Morena, that I think would be working in our favor as a province largely is the curfew period. You know that a lot of parties would take place precisely on the crossover hour. But of course, with the curfew in place, it is the hope that that would actually help in terms of just curbing the numbers, of activities that are taking place especially the sanctioned activities that would normally happen during the crossover period, that I would imagine would not be taking place anymore. So that also limits the crowded areas, if you will. But I think just generally the movement of people, and I would imagine the law enforcement agencies would be kind of quite active on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well, just to ensure that and just enforce compliance, particularly in restaurants, club-like areas, but also just other activities that might be taking place in the province, just to ensure that people comply. But I think that with us, what we're really looking at, Morena, is really the post-festive season period, where we're seeing people that are going to be coming back into the province from these other provinces. Of course, some of the concerning provinces that have really high numbers, KZN, the Eastern Cape as well. And of course, we're seeing some of the things that are happening right now in Limpopo, with what the provincial officials have also indicated around the increasing numbers because of people that have gone from Gauteng and other provinces moving into the Limpopo province. The numbers are rising there as well. So it is a cause for concern. So, of course, the numbers are increasing in Gauteng, as is the pattern. But of course, for us, the concern would be the post-festive season period.
What is in place?
Back into the
Kwara, sorry to just jump in there. What is going to be the plan for those people that are coming back from other parts of the country?
So I think similar to what we did, remember the hard lockdown, and then especially when interprovincial travel was kind of banned, and then when the lifting of the interprovincial travel was put in place, there were roadblocks in place. So working with law enforcement agencies and our districts, staffing the various, kind of borders from different provinces, ensuring there's, intensified screening and testing where possible in those provinces. And I mean, at those borders, the provincial borders, for people coming back into the province, and where necessary as well. What we've done also is, the MEC, Dr. Mathemba Mokgethi, this past week also visited Nasrec. That is one of our field hospitals, you'd remember, but also It's a quarantine and isolation facility for those that can't quarantine or isolate at home. So that facility is still in place in the event that we do, come across individuals that are exhibiting, symptoms related to COVID, and we can be able to accommodate them at Nasrec facility if that need is required. But roadblocks will be staffed, with our team from district health services to man the different borders to assist with screening and testing in those areas.
Okay, Kwara, thank you very much for your time this morning. That was the spokesperson for the Gauteng Health Department, Kwara Kekana.